Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Sadhu, sadhu. Hello, greetings everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, according to your time zones. So today I'm going to read few suttas from Anguttara Nikaya on the topic of spiritual friendship. We have heard in the suttas when Ananda asked Buddha, Buddha said spiritual friendship is whole of the spiritual life and not half of it. So today we are going to get more insight on the spiritual friendship or more about the friendship and what did the Buddha said, whom should we associate with. There are a few suttas from Anguttara Nikaya. The first one is from the Book of Ones, 1.70, 1.71. Bhikkhus, I do not see even a single thing that so cause unarisen, unwholesome qualities to arise, and arisen, wholesome qualities to decline as bad friendship. For one with bad friends, unarisen, unwholesome qualities arise, and arisen, wholesome qualities decline. Because I do not see even a single thing that so causes unarisen, wholesome qualities to arise, and arisen, unwholesome qualities to decline as good friendship. For one with good friends, unarisen, wholesome qualities arise, and arisen, unwholesome qualities decline. These are the first suttas from the Anguttara Nikaya, where Buddha is talking about friendship. If there is an unarisen, unwholesome state, if there is a bad friend, then the unarisen, unwholesome states arise. And the arisen, wholesome states decline when there is bad friendship. If there is some unarisen, wholesome qualities, they arise. Then they can be let go on when there is a good friendship. If there is unwholesome qualities, they get decline. And the unarisen, wholesome qualities arise, and the arisen, unwholesome qualities decline. This is the case. And the second set is from 1.110. Among external factors, because I do not see a single thing, single factor that leads to such great harm as bad friendship. Bad friendship leads to great harm. Among external factors, because I do not see a single factor that leads to such great good as good friendship. Good friendship leads to great good. This is the second set. Third set is 1.126, 127. Because I do not see even a single thing that so leads to decline and disappearance of the good Dhamma as bad friendship. Bad friendship leads to the decline and disappearance of the good Dhamma. Because I do not see even a single thing that so leads to the continuation, non-decline, and non-disappearance of the good Dhamma as good friendship. Good friendship leads to the continuation, non-decline, and non-disappearance of the good Dhamma. This is the second set. Before going further, I just want to connect this because of good friendship, because of the good Sangha. Even the Sangha has to have good companionship. Because of them, we still have the Dhamma getting moved on to even this generation, even to this modern world now. And friendship is so much important for the spiritual life as well. So next we will move on to Anguttara Nikaya, third 3.24. Helpful. This is the sutta. May you are looking at the book, it's on page number 219. Because these three persons are helpful to another person. What three? The person through whom another has gone for refuge to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. This person is helpful to the other person. Again, the person another through whom another comes to the understanding as it really is. This is suffering, and this is the origin of suffering, and this is the cessation of suffering, and this is the way leading to the cessation of suffering. This person is helpful to the other person. Again, the person through whom, with the destruction of the taints, another realizes for himself with direct knowledge in this very life the taintless liberation of mind, liberation by wisdom, and having entered upon it, dwells in it, this person is helpful to the other person. These three persons are helpful to another person. I say because that there is no one more helpful to another person than these three persons. I say too that it is not easy to repay these three persons by paying homage to them, by raising up for them, by reverential salutations, by proper conduct, and by presenting them with robes, alms, food, lodging, and medicines and provisions for the sick. So here, even though it is saying about the qualities that one goes to refuse to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, or understanding of the Four Noble Truths, or the liberation by wisdom and liberation by knowledge, this is directly or indirectly referring to the person who is helping us on the path, who is guiding us on the path to the to let go of suffering, to guide us on the Eightfold Path. So this is a person, and this person is the spiritual friend. This can be your spiritual friend, this can be your teacher, even the monks who guide us when we visit the monasteries. Another set is from Book of Threes, 3.26. To be associated with. Because there are these three kinds of persons found existing in the world. What three? There is a person who is not to be associated, followed, and served. A person who is to be associated with, followed, and served. And a person who is to be associated with, followed, and served with honor and respect. And what kind of person bhikkhus is not to be associated with, followed, and served. Here, some person is inferior to oneself in virtuous behavior, concentration, and wisdom. Such a person is not to be associated with, followed, and served, except out of sympathy and compassion. And what kind of person is to be associated with, followed, and served? Here, some person is similar to oneself in virtuous behavior, concentration, and wisdom. Such a person is to be associated with, followed, and served. For what reason? Because one considers, since we are similar with regard to virtuous behavior, we will have a discussion on virtuous behavior and it will flow on smoothly between us and we will feel at ease. Since we are similar with regard to concentration, we will have a discussion on concentration and it will flow on smoothly between us and we will feel at ease. Since we are similar with regard to wisdom, we will have a discussion on wisdom and it will flow on smoothly between us and we will feel at ease. Therefore, such a person is to be associated with, followed, and served. And what kind of person is to be associated with, followed, and served with honor and respect? Here, some person is superior to oneself in virtuous behavior, concentration, and wisdom. Such a person is to be associated with, followed, and served with honor and respect. For what reason? Because one considers, in such a way, I will fulfill the aggregate of virtuous behavior that I have not yet fulfilled, or assist with wisdom in virtuous, in various respects, the aggregate of virtuous behavior that I have fulfilled. I will fulfill the aggregate of collectedness that I have not yet fulfilled, or assist with wisdom in various respects, the aggregate of collectedness that I have fulfilled. I will fulfill the aggregate of wisdom that I have not yet fulfilled, or assist with the wisdom in various respects, the aggregate of wisdom that I have fulfilled. Therefore, such a person is to be associated with, followed, and served with honor and respect. These bhikkhus are three kinds of persons found existing in the world. One who associates with an inferior person declines. One who associates with an equal does not decline. Attending on a superior person, one develops quickly. Before you should follow one superior to yourself. Therefore, you should follow one superior to yourself. So, this is what the sutta is saying. There are three kinds of persons. First one, who is not to be associated with, followed, and served, only out of compassion and sympathy. This is a person who is like, if you have this, this is your level of understanding, and he is a lower type, he is the same type, and this is the third type. First type is who has lower virtuous behavior, lower wisdom, and lower collectedness. This is the person who should be associated only out of sympathy and compassion. And this is the second type, where the person who you are associating with has same level of understanding in terms of virtue, concentration, and wisdom. And this words, virtue, concentration, and wisdom, if you look at the Pali words, they are sila, samadhi, and panna. It is like whole of the eightfold path they are talking about in this sutta. And if a person whom the person is associating with has same level of virtue or concentration and wisdom, then they think that okay, then the conversation regarding virtue, concentration, and wisdom will be same. So the whole will be smooth, the flow will be smoothly. And the third type of person is whom we need to be, whom we follow and serve with honor and respect, is a person who has higher level of virtue, higher level of concentration, higher level of wisdom. Their sila, samadhi, and panna is, their level of understanding is higher. Those persons we should honor, respect, and revere them. When we associate with that kind of persons who are higher than us, then we can know what where we are lacking and until which understanding we have reached, and further how we can develop our virtue, how we can develop our collectedness, how again we can develop our wisdom. We can learn from them. So they should be, we should associate with one who are above, like who has higher level of understanding with than us. And there is a small poem like thing that's given at the end. There is 4 lines. I'll read it again. One who associates with an inferior person's decline. So if you take this like this, then if you are associating with the inferior person, your growth declines. I mean, it's not growth, your understanding declines. But if you're with the same level, then equals you do not decline. And if you are having association with the higher level of understanding, then your growth increases. One develops quickly. Therefore, you should follow one superior to yourself. This is what the sutta is saying. And there is next sutta, which is also the similar kind of sutta, and it is more towards the Sangha of the Bhikkhus. But still, I would like to read it from Bhikkhu Sujato's translation so that we get to learn the other terms as well. You should be disgusted. This is the sutta's name. These three people are found in the world. What three? There is a person who should be disgusted by and you shouldn't associate with, accompany, or attend them. There is a person you should regard with equanimity and you shouldn't associate with, accompany, or attend them. There is a person you should associate with, accompany, and attend. Who is the person you should be disgusted by and not associate with, accompany, or attend? It is a person who is unethical, of bad qualities, fleety, with suspicious behavior, underhand, no true ascetic or spiritual practitioner, though claiming to be one, rotten inside, corrupt and deprived. You should be disgusted by such a person, and you shouldn't associate with, accompany, or attend them. Why is that? Even if you don't follow the example of such a person, you still get a bad reputation. That individual has bad friends, companions, and associates. They are like a snake that's been living in a pile of dung. Even if it doesn't bite, it still rubs off on you. In the same way, even if you don't follow the example of such a person, you still get a bad reputation. That individual has bad friends, companions, and associates. That's why you should be disgusted by such a person and you shouldn't associate with, accompany, or attain them. This is the first kind of person who is having bad qualities with suspicious behavior, who is fleety, not a spiritual practitioner but claiming to be one, corrupt minded, and we should not associate with them. Why? If we associate with them, then people think that even though that person is good, this individual person has bad friends, bad companions, and bad association. So that's why we should not associate them with them. Here, a simile has been given. If there is a snake, even if it doesn't bite, if it's in a pile of dung, they think that, oh, this is a snake which might be harsh. But actually, it just rubs off it dust, it's the dung outside, but it doesn't bite you. But even though it doesn't bite, people think that it is poisonous or something. So it's the same case. Now we are going to see the second type of person whom we should not associate. Who is the person you should regard with equanimity and not associate with, accompany, or attend? It is a person who is irritable and bad tempered. Even when slightly criticized, they lose their temper, becoming annoyed, hostile, and hard hearted, and they display annoyance, hate, and bitterness. They are like a festering sore, which, when you hit it with a stick or a stone, discharges even more. In the same way, someone is irritable and bad tempered. They are like a fireband of pale moon boiling, which, when you hit it with a stick or a stone, sizzles and crackles even more. In the same way, someone is irritable and bad tempered. They are like a sewer, which when you stir it with a stick or a stone, stings even more. In the same way, someone is irritable and bad tempered even when lightly criticized. They lose their temper, becoming annoyed, hostile, and hard hearted, and they display annoyance, hate, and bitterness. You should regard such a person with equanimity, and you shouldn't associate with, accompany, or attend them. Why is that? Thinking they might abuse or insult me or do me harm. That's why you should regard such a person with equanimity. You should not associate with, accompany, or attend them. So this is second type of person whom we should, if we need to associate with, then we should have the association only with equanimity in our mind. This is a person who, even with when slightly we talk to them, they get irritated or they have bad temper and they had hatred, all these kinds of things. And even if it just with a small trigger, they get annoyed a lot. This is the second type of person. Here, a simile like a festering sore. If there is a sore in our any of the body part, even if we slightly prick it, the blood or the pus just oozes out. In the same way, that person is that kind of person. With slight pricking also, they just get bursted out. In that way, one should be careful. We should associate with them with equanimity and we should understand their nature. And in future, we should not associate and we should not accompany them or attend to them. And there is one more simile, like even if there is a sewer, then if there is a person who is, if we even if we stir it with a stick or a stone, then it stings a more. This is a person that's similar to them. Even if we try to say them that this is the path, okay, you need to be careful, they don't get that understanding. They start more towards something else. Their way of undertaking things is very different. This is the second type of person. And why should we should not attend to them, why we should not associate with them is they might abuse us, they might insult us or do harm to us. This is why one should not associate with this kind of person who is angry, who is who has hatred, who is irritable, who has bad temper. This is the person whom we should not associate with. And there is a third kind of person who is the person you should associate with, accompany, and attain. That's someone who is ethical, of good character. You should associate with, accompany, and attain such a person. Why is that? Even if you don't follow the example of such a person, you still get a good reputation. That individual has good friends, companions, and associates. That's why you should associate with, accompany, and attain such a person. These are the three people found in the world. So, this is the third kind of person whom we should associate and attend to. Why should we attend to? Because they have good character, they are ethical in behavior. And when we associate with that kind of persons, then there is a good reputation of us saying that individual has good friends, companions, and associates. This is the reason. And a man who associates with an inferior goes downhill. But associating with an equal, you will never decline. Following the best, you will quickly rise up. So you should keep company with people better than you. This is the one thing that that is very much easy to remember. The last four lines. A man who associates with inferior goes down the hill, but associating with equals, you will never decline. Following the best, you will quickly rise up. So you should keep company with people better than you. So this is the reason that Buddha says spiritual friendship is very much important. So the next sutta is 3.135. This short sutta. Bhikkhus, one should associate with a friend who possesses three factors. What three? Here, a bhikkhu or a student gives what is hard to give. He does what is hard to do. He patiently endures what is hard to endure. One should associate with a friend who possesses these three factors. So these are the three factors whom we should associate with, or a friend who we associate with should have these three characteristics. Even though it is pointing out to the other person whom we associate with, indirectly it is we are also learning to be the same person whom we can have these three characteristics. This the first one is a student gives what is hard to give. This is the first characteristic. And second one is he does what is hard to do. This is the second. Is he patiently endures what is hard to endure. This is the third factor. This endure can be tolerate what is hard to tolerate as well, or continues to exist in even hard times. It can also mean that. So these are the three factors. It's in both ways. We can look for these three characters in other people as well, and all in the same way develop in within ourselves also, so that we can be the spiritual friend or good friend, good association to the other person. These are the suttas from Book of Threes. Now we'll go to the Book of Fours, 4.242. This is also a short sutta. Bhikkhus, benefits of a good friend. This is the sutta's name. Bhikkhus, by relying on a good person, four benefits are to be expected. What four? One grows in noble virtuous behavior. One grows in noble collectedness. One grows in noble wisdom, and one grows in noble liberation. By relying on a good person, these four benefits are to be expected. And again, here comes the same thing, sila, samadhi, and panna, and also the liberation. I don't know the exact word for the liberation, but the way it is showing, I just want to share my screen for a while. I just want to show how this Eightfold Path is connected to Sila, Samadhi, and Panya. Okay. So this is the way the virtuous behavior. This is the virtuous behavior, the ethics, morality. These are the first part where we keep the precepts. Then we have the meditation practice along with right effort, that is 6 hours, and mindfulness, and we practice collectedness of our mind. Then we grow the wisdom. We have the understanding of what is right, what is wrong. We have the understanding of Four Noble Truths. Then we have right resolve. This is right thought. The way our mind starts thinking, the way our thoughts come up, they become wholesome. So this being just an example, the basic foundation for any meditation practice is first precepts. When we start keeping our precepts, then our mind starts to get collected along with right effort. Then we have the wisdom development, sila, samadhi, and panya. Then the mind gets liberated. So this is what I want to just give a glance upon, because it's already been said here in the same sutta. We can connect to this sutta. One grows in noble virtuous behavior. One grows in noble collectedness. One grows in noble wisdom. And one grows in noble liberation. Even in somewhere in the suttas, it is given like this eightfold path. Maybe I have read in a book, A Mind Without Craving, where the censor says this eightfold path, when one becomes an arhan, becomes right liberation and right knowledge and right preparation comes them. So this becomes tenfold path for them, and it becomes automatic for them. So for us to have a good, for us to be a good person, or for what are the factors that we need to look for a good friendship. So these are virtuous behavior in the collectedness and the wisdom and the deliberation. And then 5.146. Okay, I'll read Bhikkhu Sudato's translation here. Sutta name is Mitta Sutta, a friend. Mitta is closer to the word mitra in Hindi, which is basically means friend. Mendicants, you should not associate with a mendicant friend who has 5 qualities. What 5? They start up work projects. They take up discipline mendicants. They like long and aimless wanderings. They are unable to educate, encourage, fire up, and inspire you from time to time with a Dhamma talk. Mendicants, you should not associate with a mendicant friend who has these 5 qualities. You should associate with a mendicant friend who has 5 qualities. What 5? They do not start up work projects. They don't take up disciplinary issues. They don't conflict with leading mendicants. They don't like long and aimless wandering. They are able to educate, encourage, fire up, and inspire you from time to time with the Dhamma talk. You should associate with a mendicant friend who has these 5 qualities. So this is the sutta from Book of Five. And here in Bhikkhu Bodhi's translation, it is given as he instigates work projects, he takes up disciplinary issues, he is hostile towards eminent bhikkhus, he is intent on lengthy and unsettled wandering, and they do not give the Dhamma talk and they do not inspire us with Dhamma talk. We should not associate with these kinds of friendship, and we should associate with those who do not start up with work projects, they would not have take up the disciplinary issue, who do not conflict with leading mendicants, who do not like aimless wandering, and who educate us with and inspire us with the Dhamma talks. These are these are the 2 persons who we should associate and who should not be associated with. And then the next one is Book of 6.67. This is also the same thing. This also has the same name. A friend or friends sutta. Because when a student has bad friends, bad companions, and bad comrades, then he follows resorts to and attains upon bad friends and follows their example, it is impossible that he will fulfill the duty of proper conduct without having fulfilled duty of proper conduct. It is impossible that he will fulfill the duty of a trainee. Without having fulfilled the duty of a trainee, it is impossible that he will fulfill virtuous behavior. Without having fulfilled virtuous behavior, it is impossible that he will abandon sensual desire, lust for form, or lust for the formless. Bhikkhus, when a bhikkhu has a good, when a student has a good friends, good comrades, good companions, when he follows, resorts to, and attends upon good friends, and follows their example, it is possible that he will fulfill the duty of proper conduct. Having fulfilled the duty of proper conduct, it is possible that he will fulfill the duty of a trainee. Having fulfilled the duty of a trainee, it is possible that he will fulfill virtuous behavior. Having fulfilled virtuous behavior, it is possible that he will abandon sensual lust, lust for form and lust for the formless. So here what the Buddha is saying is, if a student has a bad friendship or bad companion, then it is impossible that he will fulfill the duty of a proper conduct. This proper conduct may be by the way of body, speech, or mind. And then without having proper conduct by body, speech, or mind, then it is impossible for that person to have undertaking the training, duty of a training. He will not going to fulfill the duty of a training. And without having fulfilled the duty of a trainee, it is impossible for him to have a virtuous behavior. Without fulfilling the virtuous behavior, it is impossible for him to abandon the sensual lust. Without abandoning the sensual lust, it, it is impossible for him to let go of lust for form or lust for the formless. So these are the 6 things that have been given here for a good friend or a bad friend. And here also we can see it is like dependent origination, like because of him not following these things, he is not able to follow all the other things. This has condition that is not being happening, and this is not happening, and that is not happening. And when a bhikkhu or a student has a good friend, good companion, and good comrade, when he follows, resorts to, and attends upon that good friend, what happens is it is possible that he the duty of proper conduct, like he's going to learn how one should act through body, how should one speak through words, and then how should one develop the mind by way of body, speech, and mind. Then when body, speech, and mind, then he will next undertake the duty of a trainee, and then he will start keeping his virtuous behavior. He's going to take up the precepts. And then when he takes up the precepts, it is possible for him to abandon the sensual desire. Then he can let go of hindrances slowly. And then he can let go of lust for forms and then lust for the formless. Again, when we look deeply into the sutta, lust for the form and the lust for formless, when we look at the taints that have to be abandoned, and the forms and formless come in the last when a person attains anagami, and then there comes form or formless things. One has to let go. This is like initially, if you look at it as a beginner's point of view, it's quite different, and when you look at it as a advanced practitioner, it's different. The next sutta is from Book of Sevens, 7.36. A friend. This is also similar to Mitta Sutta. The name is same, but the content changes because as we changing the number, keep changing with the number in the Anguttara Nikaya. For those who do not understand, This is a numerical discourse where the book has, if in the book of ones we have 1, 1, 1, and then book of twos, Buddha gives the example of two kinds of people or two types of characteristics. In book of threes, we have three types of three kinds or three features that keeps going. In the same way, we have book of 6, book of 7, book of 10, book of 11, like that. So here we are reading now book of 7. Because one should associate with a friend who possesses 7 factors. What 7? He gives what is hard to give. He does what is hard to do. He patiently endures what is hard to endure. He reveals his secrets to you. He preserves your secrets. He does not forsake you when you are in trouble. He does not roughly despise you. One should associate with a friend who possesses these 7 factors. A friend gives what is hard to give, and he does not you your harsh words and endures what is hard to endure. He tells you his secrets, yet he preserves your secrets. He does not forsake you in difficulties, nor does he roughly despise you. The person here in whom these qualities are found is a friend. One desiring a friend should resort to such a person. So here Buddha is given 7 factors of a friend who he should be associated with. And if I could remember correctly, this is the same thing that's repeated in Dika Nikaya Sigalavata Sutta as well. One should have a friend who gives which is hard to give, and he does what is hard to do, and he patiently endures what is hard to endure. He reveals your secret and also keeps your secrets. He forgives you, and he does not roughly despise you, and he does not forsake you when you are in trouble. So these are the 7 factors that the Buddha is talking about in this book of sevens. And there is next sutta. It is a similar sutta, but we will read another translation. Here we can see when there are two suttas coming back to back. The first one is for like lay people, and second one is given for as like for the monks or the bhikkhus. But we will just change the word to students, and we can still read the same sutta. Book of 737. Dutiya Mitta Sutta. It's the name of the sutta. And I'm reading Bhikkhu Sujato's translation. Mendicants, when a friend has 7 qualities, you should associate with, accompany, and attain them, even if they send you away. What 7? They are likable, agreeable, respected, and admired. They admonish you and they accept admonishment. They speak on deep matters and they don't argue you to do bad things. When a friend has these 7 qualities, you should associate with, accompany, and attain them, even if they send you away. So, this is a bit interesting because in the previous sutta that we read, these wordings were not being given that even if they send you away, we should associate with them. This is not given, but here it has been given. They are lovable, respected, and admired. An admonisher who accepts admonishment, speaks on deep matters, and does not argue you to do bad. The person in whom these things are found in your friend. If you want to have a friend benevolent and compassionate, you should keep company with such a person, even if they send you away. So, this is the sutta where the Buddha is guiding the mendicants. if there is a person who is lovable, respected, and admired, then we should associate with them, because they doesn't argue you to do bad. And even if they are punishing us or accepting, just pointing out the mistakes in us, even though they are doing that, we should accept that and learn from them. And because they are so admirable, they are respected, and they are lovable, out of compassion, even though the person send us away, we should be with them, we should associate with them. This is what the Buddha has said. Next sutta is Book of 8, 8.54. Sutta's name is Digajanu. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling among the Kolians near the Kolian town named Kakarapatta. They, the young Kolian, Digajanu, approached the Blessed One, paid homage to him, sat down to one side, and said to him, Bante, we are laymen, enjoying sensual pleasures, living at home in a house full of children. We use sandalwood foam and silver. We use sandalwood foam from Kasi. We wear garlands, scents, and ornaments. We receive gold and silver. Let the Blessed One teach us the Dhamma in a way that will lead to our welfare and happiness in this present life and in future lives. There are Bhagya these four things that leads to the welfare and happiness of the clansman in this present life. What for? Accomplishment in initiative, accomplishment in protection, good friendship, and balanced living. And what is accomplishment in initiative? Here, whatever may be by means by which a clansman earns his living, whether by farming, trade, raising cattle, archery, government service, or some other craft. He is skillful and diligent. He possesses sound judgment about it in order to carry out and arrange it properly. This is called accomplishment in initiative. So here, whatever way the person is earning, the lay people, whatever they are earning, then the way they are earning through cattle or through farming, or maybe from today's maybe an IT industry, they should be accomplished, that they should have perfection in whatever work they are doing. This is accomplishment in initiative. And what is accomplishment in protection? Here, a clansman sets up protection and guards over the wealth he has acquired by initiative and energy, amassed by the strength of his arms, earned by the sweat of his brows, righteous wealth righteously gained, thinking, how can I prevent kings and thieves from taking it, fire from burning it, floods from sweeping it off, and displeasing hairs from taking it? This is called accomplishment in protection. This is like keeping your wealth secured, maybe having an insurance, and also in the same time keeping the precepts also. It's like protection. And next, the friendship part comes in. And what is good friendship? Here, in whatever village or a town a clansman lives, he associates with householders or their sons, whether young but of mature virtue, or old of mature virtue, who are associated, accomplished in faith, virtuous behavior, generosity, and wisdom. He converses with them and engages in discussion with them. In so far as they are accomplished in faith, he emulates them with respect to their accomplishment in faith, in so far as they are accomplished in virtuous behavior. He emulates them with respect to their accomplishment in virtuous behavior. Insofar as they are accomplished in generosity, he emulates them with respect to their accomplishment in generosity. Insofar as they are accomplished in wisdom, he emulates them with respect to their accomplishment in wisdom. This is called good friendship. So, wherever the person is living, in whatever village they are living, they should associate with a householder or their sons, whether young or old, but of mature virtue, and have discussion with them. Who this person who we are associating with should have accomplished in faith, virtuous behavior, generosity, and wisdom. And then, what is balanced living? Here, a clansman knows his income and expenditures and leads a balanced life, neither too extravagant nor too frugal. In this way, my income will exceed my expenditure rather than the reverse. Just as an appraiser or his apprentice, holding up a scale, knows by so much it has tipped down, by so much it has gone up, so a clansman knows his income and expenditure and leads a balanced life, neither too extravagant nor too frugal. In this way, my income will exceed my expenditures rather than the reverse. If this clansman has a small income but lives luxuriously, others would say of him, this clansman eats his wealth just like an eater of figs. But if he has a large income but lives sparingly, others would say of him, this clansman may even strive himself. But it is called balanced living when a clansman knows his income and expenditures and leads a balanced life, neither too extravagant nor too frugal. In this way, my income will exceed my expenditures rather than the reverse. The wealth thus amassed has four sources of dissipation: womanizing, drunkenness, gambling, and bad friendship, bad companionship, bad comradeship, just as if there were a large reservoir with four inlets and four outlets, and a man would close the inlets and open the outlets, and efficient rain does not fall. One would expect the water in the reservoir to decrease rather than increase. So the wealth thus amassed has four sources of dissipation: womanizing, drunkenness, gambling, and bad friendship and bad companionship. Okay, so this is the fourth case, the fourth one that Buddha is saying. What is balanced living? A person who has this has the knowledge of how much amount of income is earned, how much amount of expenditure is being done, and if he is living too luxuriously but having less income, then the people say he is going to lose all of his earnings. And even if the person is limiting his expenditure, even though having more income, then also the people will say, oh, he's going to strive himself to death or something like that. So one has to know that balance of how much we are earning, how much we are going to expend on whatever needs we are going to fulfill. And here the Buddha is giving a small example, like the wealth thus amassed has four sources of dissipation. So it is giving, Buddha is giving four cases where the wealth we have earned will be lost. When a person is associating with womanizing, drunkenness, gambling, or a bad friendship or bad comrades. So these are the four cases. It's like four inlets and four outlets. When we close off the inlets and just keep on expending all the income that we have earned, and there is no sufficient rain, then the reservoir gets all cleans, or maybe everything gets empty. And the reasons for this being empty is womanizing, drunkenness, gambling, and bad friendship. These are the four reasons. The wealth thus amassed has four sources of assertion. One avoids humanizing, drunkenness, and gambling, and cultivates good friendship, good companionship, and good comradeship, just as if there were a large reservoir with four inlets and four outlets, and a man would open the inlets and close the outlet, and sufficient rain falls, one would expect the water in the reservoirs to increase rather than decrease. So the wealth amassed has four sources of assertion. One avoids womanizing, one avoids drunkenness, one avoids gambling, and cultivates good friendship. These are the four things that leads to the welfare and happiness of a clansman in this very life. So, giving the same example of a reservoir here, when the outlets, like the wrong womanizing, drunkenness, gambling, and the wrong friendship, all these outlets are closed, and then we open the inlets, and then there is sufficient rainfall, then the water levels in the reservoirs increases. In the same way, the wealth that we have earned will increase when we just close the outlets and we open the inlets. There are Bhagavaja, these four things that leads to a clansman welfare and happiness in future lives. What four? Accomplishment in faith, accomplishment in virtuous behavior, accomplishment in generosity, and accomplishment in wisdom. And what is accomplishment in faith? Here a clansman is endowed with faith. He places faith in the enlightenment of the Tathagata thus. The Blessed One is an Arhan, teachers of Devas and humans. The Enlightened One, the Blessed One. This is called accomplishment in faith. And what is accomplishment in virtuous behavior? Here a clansman abstains from destruction of life, from taking what is not given, from sexual misconduct, from false speech, and from liquor, wine, and intoxicant, the basis of heedlessness. This is called accomplishment in virtuous behavior. And what is accomplishment in generosity? Here a clansman dwells at home with a heart devoid of the stain of miserliness, freely generous, open handed, diligent in relinquishment, one devoid to charity, delighting in giving and sharing. This is called accomplishment in generosity. And what is accomplishment in wisdom? Here a clansman is wise. He possesses the wisdom that discerns arising and passing away, which is noble and penetrative, and leads to the complete destruction of suffering. This is called accomplishment in wisdom. These are the four things that lead to the welfare and happiness of a clansman in future lives. So, for the present life, Buddha has given whatever work we are doing, we need to be perfect in that initiative and protect the wealth that we have acquired. Then we have good friendship and we have balanced relations. These are the for present life. For the present life as well as future life, Buddha is giving. One has to have faith in the Buddha, that the Buddha is enlightened. He is a teacher of gods and men. And then one should have virtuous behavior. One should stick to the precepts, should not break any of the five precepts. And then accomplishment in generosity. When we be generous, our mind opens up open-handedly. And then we give freely. It's not only giving through the money or sharing, it also in terms of giving anything by way of our body, by way of our speech, by way of our mind. And then accomplishment in wisdom, that is understanding that by the arising of this is passing away, or this arises, that passes away. Because of this arises. This understanding is accomplishment by wisdom. And then there is the poem that completes this sutta. Enterprising in this occupations, heedful in his arrangements, balanced in his way of leading, he safeguards the wealth he earns. Endowed with faith, accomplished in virtue, charitable, and devoid of miserliness. He constantly purifies the path that leads to safety in future lives. Thus, these 8 qualities of the faithful seeker of the household life are said by the one who is truly named to lead to happiness in both states, to good and welfare in this very life, and to happiness in future lives. Thus, for those dwelling at home, their generosity and merit increase. So, this is the last sutta. There are other suttas as well, but I'm going to stop here. There are other few suttas as well. Maybe I'll take those suttas on Wednesday. Let me check how many suttas are left. There are 9 more suttas in spiritual friendship. So we will continue in the next Sunday or maybe on Wednesday. I'll see if I can complete this. Anybody has any question regarding their practice or anything they want to share regarding their insight, regarding their practice? No questions, no sharing? Okay. Before we share the merits, may you want to say something?
Not really. Yeah, but thank you very much for reading all the suttas. It's very nice to know all the different descriptions that the Buddha gave in terms of what is good friendship. So it's good to know.
Thank you. And I see there are so many people who have joined us today. I just want to see if they are smiling or not. Maybe for a moment, can you just turn on the camera so that we can see your smiling faces? And it's good. I just want to invite everybody each Sunday to just join us on Zoom so that here we can develop the community like spiritual companionship here on Zoom as well.
I think it's very nice what you're doing. It's my first time here. I was invited by a friend. They shared the group information last week, and I'm here this Sunday. It's wonderful. I even like the topic that you've chosen, spiritual friendship. A friend of mine spoke about this to me a few weeks ago, and it's just right that I'm here at the right time. So thank you very much for this.
Yes, welcome to the group. Thank you for joining us today. And do you practice Twin?
No, it's my first time. I came to know about the group from Deer Park.
Oh, nice. So
So I'm
recently,
kind of rookie, but learning the ropes, and I'm
yeah,
thankful to be here.
you can do an online retreat or join us for the physical retreat from dhammasukha.in.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you want some guided meditations, you can just see on our YouTube, or maybe we can share you. They are also on our website.
That
Just
sounds
sign up.
good.
You
I
can
was
try.
looking at your website yesterday, and I'm curious to know more. I will get in touch with you.
Yeah, this technique is
Thank you.
quite simple. The right effort part is you start enjoying the practice, and it will change the way you are looking at life right now, or maybe after a few days when you keep practicing, it changes.
That's right.
Yeah.
I appreciate your input. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Before sharing merits, I just want to share the merits to your family members, to your friends, to who are sick in your nearby, everybody, and just keep with them in your mind, and then we can share the merits to all of them. Anybody wants to say anything or add anything? Okay, let's share the merit. May suffering ones be suffering free. and the fear stuff, fearless pain. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all the beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank
Wish
you.
you all happiness.
Yeah, same to you.
Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.